What up? What up? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Sleuth Intuition channel. Today, and like most other days, we will be talking about the Delphi double homicide of Abby and Libby. There has been an arrest, thank goodness. Law enforcement, they drop the bomb, they walk away, and now they're left to deal with the fallout. We're going to talk a lot about that, the court proceedings. Hopefully, we can get some expert who might be in the chat or watching to chime in. That'd be great. What's up, Derek? What's up, D? True Crime Housewife. Good to see you. Chucky, Copper. So you guys are already talking about the case information. Good to see you, D. Hey, what's up, Joe? Good to see you. Hey, Glenn. Glenn, that's a good question. If Richard Allen and Klein are involved, then why didn't Richard Allen get rid of whatever they found in his house the second they saw King Klein arrested? In my opinion, I think he couldn't. If he is connected, and there's nothing really saying that he is as of yet. They did leave it open for speculation. Case is still open. They're asking for tips. But if he is connected, maybe he couldn't part with it. Those are his trophies. Maybe it was keeping him from killing again. The wife leaves town, goes visits family. He has to stay home for work. Has an opportunity to dig it up and look at his trophies. I have a feeling he had photographs. Think about it. This guy could have. I guess he worked with the 1 hour photo there. So he could if he took photos of the crime scene, he could have went and developed them without, causing any suspicion at all. Nobody would even know. And then I'm also hearing rumors that he may have had like a photo lab in one of his sheds or something. Thanks, Derek. I appreciate that, man. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Fick? Good to see you, man. American True Crime. Yep, souvenirs. You can't part with that. Maybe even just looking at him, he can relive it. Yeah, who knows what they pulled out of that house? Fig says he didn't get rid of that stuff for the same reason why he left up pictures of why young bridge guy, the young bridge guy sketch at his place of work. He thinks he is smarter than everyone. He's a sick motherfucker and didn't want to part with them. The same thing that causes him to do what he did is going to be the same thing that is going to get him caught. And that's just the way it is. It's something that they can't control. They have total control over everything, but that one piece, they just can't control it. And that's the piece that seems to make them a monster. We're going to go ahead and start with the tweet. I think this tweet actually came out on maybe Friday when they made the announcement that the presser was to be expected on the following Monday. Let's go ahead and read this. So Becky Patty posted this on Facebook. She said, "I guess I am kind of at a loss. Every morning I get up, I get my coffee, I start looking for which photo will be the today in the day post. Today's the day post. Now I sit here not needing to do it because at long last we have a face to go with our monster. I sit here wondering, now what? Where do we go from here? I realize our lives have again made a big change. We have a very difficult path to start down. It's a path we will gladly face as we know each step taken is one step closer to our monster being convicted. Knowing that makes that walk so much easier. I want to thank everyone who has supported and prayed for our girls daily for 5.5 years, who never gave up, who grew to love them. I know they are smiling down. We had some technical difficulties. Um, Smiling down the world today, knowing all right. I think my mic was cutting out or something right there. But yeah, I thought it was important to read that. And then I also pulled some recent media that kind of goes with the fallout topic of today, and we can start with that. So let me share what I gathered this morning.
In Delphi announced those murder charges for Richard Allen. He is accused tonight of killing Abby Williams and Libby German.
The Carroll County prosecutor tells 13 News that he's not aware of any attorney representing Allen. Our Karen Campbell spent the day in Delphi to learn more.
We know Richard Allen worked as a licensed pharmacy tech at this CVS here in Delphi, but many continue to ask and wonder how a man now charged with 2 counts of murder managed to stay under the radar. In a town of about 3,000 people, those who live in Delphi are still trying to cope with news that Richard Allen is the man police say murdered Abby Williams and Libby German.
I mean, it's the day after Halloween, but it's a little eerie.
And tense. In downtown Delphi on the square, businesses like the Office Tavern put up a new sign on their door reading, "No media allowed." They weren't the only ones. Country Hair also had a sign. Off camera, one business owner told 13 News the community is still in shock.
That's what I'm surprised that it's this close, that it took this long.
Police released his mugshot, but these are Facebook photos of Richard Allen. He's a husband and a father. We've blurred faces to protect the privacy of other family members.
He looks just like a regular guy from Indiana. Just some guy you pass on the street and wouldn't think twice about. Just being as free as they are for as long as they have been is unnerving. It's definitely unsettling.
We know Allen has a pretrial court date that is set for January 13th of 2023. He has a trial date set for March.
January 13th is his pretrial. Yeah, that's true, Grunge. I'm wondering if there's still some kind of connection. What's up, Copper? Says Indiana defines a felony as any crime that carries a penalty of more than 1 year in prison and up to life imprisonment or the death penalty. That's pretty vague. Or harsh, even. Yeah, that's right, Anna. This could have been a secret. up, Richard? Chucky. Oh, man. They're going to protect him for sure. Yep, 2 inches. Yeah, that's correct. So he's probably right around 5'6", 5'7". What's up, Frank? Good to see you. Yeah, Tamara, did you notice Becky Patty? She kept using that word monster. She said it twice. She called him a monster twice. Because I mean, think about it. That's what it is. That's exactly what he is, a monster. Like a real life monster. You know when you're watching those scary movies and you're just like you start getting all scared. It's like dark. You're like looking around. You're like, oh man, this is spooky. You know, but then part of you's excited because you know it's not real. Now take that excitement away and then add some more fear in there. You might have maybe an inkling. I mean, I have a question for you guys. How is it possible to see somebody like this coming? You know, somebody like a Richard Allen, if he gets convicted and he's not being set up, you know, all this crazy conspiracy stuff or whatever, and he's, you know, the charges come down, he's facing the death penalty. That's my one question. How do you see somebody like this coming? If you ask everybody, even when at the place he lived before, I think it was like Mexico, Indiana, or something like that. All his neighbors were like, no, he's a nice guy. I would never expect this. So that's my question for you guys. Hey, what's up, Joe? Are you the Joe that called in? Good to see you. Either way. Hey, Hybrid. I hope you have a great day. Yeah, the news said, as of right now, there's no mention of his attorney whatsoever. Man, I really hope this doesn't play out in some kind of weird way, you know? That'd be horrible. And I don't know, that's a tough question. If the prosecutor asks the family, like, are you guys willing to sacrifice the death penalty, you know, for him to take a life sentence without the possibility of parole, you know, for just providing all the details, you know? That way they don't have to suffer through those proceedings. Is it worth it? I don't know. I think I would like to see him fry. And that's kind of wicked of me, but I mean, how else do you send a message to these other creepers that are out there? Man, I'm really torn on that. Right now, I mean, on his somebody sent me some information on him, and it says that he's listed as like 5'8", and then another party's listed as 5'4". So who knows? Yeah, Kimmy, 100%, like a real life monster. You know, we all know that one day we're gonna face death. But we all hope that we can go out surrounded by family, having some kind of a heads up and some peace. You know, those girls, along with many others, don't get that choice. And it's because of people like him. If he's guilty and he did this, people like him are the main reason that these families were destroyed. They'll never be the same, ever. And I don't know if that town will ever be the same. It's going to take like, I don't know, a whole nother generation before that quiets down. Tamara says it's not over completely. I believe that he could possibly be connected to the Anthony Shots account and Dropbox Kagan created. He's a monster, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm just thinking of like a way to tie everything together. So I mean, we can go over theories, we can go over escape routes, we can go over all that stuff. I mean, I know that's all we're really left with is speculation. And I rewatched all the media, the presser, and the case is open. I don't know if that's just something they got to do for whatever reason. But I mean, it's very strange. Bridge troll. Yeah, and the motivation. We still don't know what's the motive. Was he just walking home? Did Kagan Klein meet up with him and just mention like, yeah, I was supposed to meet these girls over here at this bridge? Did he work with somebody? Was this pre-planned? I don't know. There's a lot of strange things because you got who was it? Julie Melvin, who said one of the witnesses saw somebody on the south end of the bridge. So what if he was actually trying to rob, let's say, I don't know, a Kay Weber or something? He's over there lingering, and you know, maybe there's something strange like that involved. I don't know. I don't want to jump the gun on all that, but Richard Sleuth thought you were off track looking for BG in the volunteer crew. Might be rumors, but thinking you were correct. From what I've heard, crazy. Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, the original MO, if you think about it, first of all, they said they believe that he lived here. Ives mentioned that he thought from what he saw he was here, and that there may be like some kind of mental issue going on with the person. So I was like, okay, what does that mean? What kind of crime scene is he looking at for him to say those words? That he believes, he subscribes to that belief, you know, that the guy's local and that something was off with the guy mentally. And then this guy has the talk, you know, there's talk, and this is all rumor. I still can't find the source. So if anybody has a source, shoot me an email stating that this guy was actually like locked up or whatever. Not locked up, but evaluated or put into a mental facility. Because I mean, that was a huge part of the profile. And I got a lot of flack for that. Not that it matters, but it's just interesting, and it's going to be on my resume, you know. If you guys want to come to my channel and listen to me spout off like I know what the fuck I'm talking about, you know, people are going to go check, you know, was he right about anything over there on Delphi? You know, we always want to be right, but you don't want to trip over your ego in that process. But I mean, it's just human behavior. They're going to go check. I mean, why am I listening to this guy? But it's like, and it goes to that resume. If you guys look at John Douglas, you know, this guy's an incredible FBI profiler. You know, there's some people in true crime who worship him, but then he has that one blemish, you know, the John Benet Ramsey case where he just got it completely wrong. You know, so no matter what, you're gonna have people that say, why are you bringing up John Douglas? Didn't you see what he, you know, the horrible work he did over on the John Benet Ramsey case? And it almost overshadows like his entire career. So it's up to you. Make a personal choice. But I mean, it's common sense, you know. If you didn't get things right and you're not fixing them, and it's just common sense that people are going to stop listening to you. Thanks, Tamara. And I'm having a hard time keeping up with this chat. Paper Pimp says, you don't see them coming and you never will. I think that's the part that bothers me. You know, how do we learn to see this shit? The creep. The guy at the guy at the CVS store that you get your grandmother gets her prescription and you get your photos developed at. The guy that you're shooting the shit about, hey, good to see you guys still have up this Delphi poster. I really hope they catch this monster. And he's like, yeah, starts talking and shooting the shit with you. Like, man, it leaves a weird feeling like in my throat. Very strange. I wish I could explain it. It's almost like the devil, you know what I mean? Like you can find a sense of, and you're like, what the hell? Just no attorney. Kimmy Connect says he'll be safer in prison. Hell yeah, because it looks like if Mike Patty finds him. Ooh. Yeah, so I'm hoping nothing crazy happens in that courtroom. I mean, sometimes you can't help it. Like I couldn't even finish reading Becky's Facebook post. You just never know. Sometimes it just hits you and you're just like, oh man, can't control it. Violet Gal, hello, says it's very interesting to me that so many locals are saying how nice he is, given the very intense look he's given his wife and others in photographs. It doesn't entirely make sense. Yeah, to me, he was never smiling. I don't know yet. I think CD mentioned it. There's a word for it. It's basically a beer drinker's face when he hasn't had any beer that day. Kind of irritable, I guess. Oh, and all you guys who've been buying my merch, my hats and stuff, appreciate it. I just bought me a brand new. I already have this hat, but this is a brand new one. So I just have hoodies and hats and stuff like that. And everybody that's purchased, there's what's funny is there have been some snags here and there, like some issues, but it's only because Etsy is so finicky. Like they really protect people's. So if there's any like small issue, they want to verify it all around, like, okay. And then sometimes it goes unnoticed. So even the people that had issues and reached out, my wife was like able to talk to them and kind of see what was going on. They ended up getting their stuff and happy, and they all gave me 5 stars. So when I saw that, I was actually pretty happy. That was pretty cool. Possible penalty 2.0. Dry drunk. Bees9 says, monitor social media, trust your gut, don't assume people you don't know are safe, and man or woman don't go out in remote areas without a plan of protection. Sadly. Well said, Bees. I agree with that 100%. And I think what's also important is being able to communicate with your children. Don't always accuse them and assume that they're lying. Trust them no matter what, and they'll be willing, they might speak with you a little better. That's just in my personal experience. All right. I tried my best to catch up on the chat. Let's go ahead and run this video. All right, let's add this up here. What's up? Shay Watson says, when was the alleged meeting with Anthony Schatz supposedly set up? I'm not sure, but according to some of the information obtained mainly through the murder sheet, the most important phone of Kagan Klein was an iPhone, and everything was deleted from the 10th and the 16th, I believe, or the 15th. And one of the investigators stated, during this time, you would have been grooming these girls, and leading up to a meeting. That very important time frame on your most important device is completely gone. So it seemed like one of the biggest puzzle pieces, if Kagan's involved in this, like I said, this can be some crazy coincidence. But if he is involved, that could have been a huge piece to this puzzle. And maybe that piece to that puzzle was somewhere in the Wabash River. And it could have even been just a communication that contained an IP address or a GPS location. And if it puts it anywhere near this guy, I mean, dang, that's pretty damning. And that's a hell of a negotiating tool for Kagan Klein. I'm just trying to make sense of it all. I mean, it's either murder sheet sources suck, which I don't believe that they do. And I do believe in coincidences, but I don't think that the whole ski mask incident and stuff like that, and people tying, taking these strange risks for anybody that can tie certain people to the crime, it just doesn't make sense to me. And then there's also, to me, there's always been a drug element. And I feel like I bet was really the only person who was really sticking on that. But I'm still sticking to that. Now this guy's working at a pharmacy. Kagan ended up with a drug problem. So I'm still thinking, and it's not like it doesn't have to be meth or, it could be different crowds of people. Yes. Welcome, Gloria. Thank you, Derek. Yeah, I'm interested to learn more about that, Rockaways, how he inserted his case, all this talk about, oh, well, they know who the bridge guy is, and I know that there was a huge Reddit post going around, and that's the source of that information. So that's not official information that this guy came forward. Even though you see media outlets, they'll run with it, but they're no different than us. We find information and then we run with it. That's all they're doing. It doesn't make it official. So we don't know. Because think about it. If this guy was like, yeah, that was me on the bridge or I was on the trails. Okay, let me get a DNA test from you. Let me get your fingerprints. Let me get a blood sample, And we learned a lot from Julian Powell. He was nice enough to talk with us and say, hey, look, I was on the trails. They interviewed me. And one of the things was they said, hey, were you out there taking photos and the girl started making fun of you and you just freaked out? So maybe that's part of the story. And we know that Libby did do that. She would see strange people and she would try to document it and then just kind of goof about it later. Mike Patty mentioned that at one point. So it's strange that they would ask Julian Powell that question. And he said they asked him for a DNA sample. So if that story was true, in my opinion, that's what makes it not true, because they would have asked him for a DNA sample and it would have been over right then and there. Nice. That sounds awesome. I got a pretty big monitor right here. That's why I'm always like looking back, like, because I have a small desk, but then I have this huge monitor. I have one on the left and then a smaller one on the right. Sunglasses help. Yeah, that's a tough conversation. All right. So I wanted to kind of get into the search, and then we could just start talking about whatever we want in regards to what we think this guy, how he may have done it. What was his MO? What was his mode of operation? Now that we know where he lived, now we know who he was. Maybe it'll start to make a little more sense. All right. So according to a neighbor, the search took place on October 13th, commenced around noon. just before noontime. The search went on for 12 hours. Law enforcement arrived in unmarked vehicles and clothing. Wow. Law enforcement asked Rick and his wife to exit the house. Rick stood in the driveway for several hours and also sat in the car with his wife for several hours. At some point, the neighbor said that his wife left. All right, let me go find the part where he talks about the items. Oh, here we go. At this point, law enforcement entered the house and some entered the backyard. They started searching the shed and taking pictures. Law enforcement were using a device like a metal detector. Wow, I wonder if that's what the hell that's all about. Metal detector or sonar around the shed and in the flower bed. They did not dig in the flower bed, but did dig up 2 tiny spots near the shed. Law enforcement started bringing items out from the house. Neighbors said one law enforcement officer came out with what appeared to be 2 large bundles of dark colored cloth. Whoa. That's the part that really stood out. Dark colored cloth. Those could be the trophies, maybe. Could not be sure if it was clothes, only that it was definitely cloth. Maybe the thing he had around his neck. Also brought out a Macy's shopping bag, a shoebox, a small stack of books. Said they were thin books, not thick like an encyclopedia. So that, to me, that I'm thinking maybe photo books. What do you guys think? Yeah, they most likely had to make a deal with that dude. Or he could have been, may have attempted it prior, a few times and just failed. And then eventually just kept changing, not changing his MO really, but maybe becoming more sophisticated, more educated, evolving, I guess. I don't know. The same Reddit post is the same Reddit post that says he came forward early on in the case. So to me, I'm calling that bullshit. I don't know. I don't know if I trust that Reddit post because think about it. If they're looking for a guy and he doesn't come, it's almost like the whole Daniel Pearson story, but replace Daniel Pearson and put this guy in his place. It's Richard Allen instead of Daniel Pearson. The guy was at the bridge, was interviewed early on, may or may not have been the bridge guy, but law enforcement cleared him. So that's bullshit because if he came forward and said, hey, I'm on the bridge, they're going to DNA test him. So whether law enforcement's either incompetent and they didn't get a DNA sample from this guy, or maybe he refused. I don't know. Or the Reddit post is completely false, or both. I don't know. I just that's keeping me from just blindly assuming that it's a factual or a good source. Yeah, that's possible too. Well, if you see the video from 2018, he's wearing like a blue coat and he's holding a knife. And he's like, so I mean, it's possible his family knows. I mean, as horrible as that sounds, there's a possibility that they know about it. You never know. Don't underestimate people. Don't accuse them, but don't underestimate them. If family used a canoe on the creek on the 13th, where was the clothing reported by the news guy? That's a good question. But I don't know about anybody canoeing. But I like where you're going with that question. Let's take a look. All right. So we are running out of time. Got about a half hour left here. So I guess we can dive right into this. Okay, so we know Kelsey found the shoe right in this area. We know the girls were found in this location here. Now, the clothes that J. Kyle Keener and that were seen on the RTV6 chopper footage, I don't know if this circle is accurate, but it's probably more like right here, somewhere in here. But he said it appeared to be clothing that was stuck on pieces of wood. And if you go and look at the RTV6 chopper footage, that's what it looks like to me. Maybe some blue jeans and then like a white shirt or maybe a bra, maybe something like that. Not exactly sure yet. But yeah, it definitely looks like clothing. Yeah, DNA. I'm thinking if he has these items on his property and they may have the girl's DNA on there, maybe even mixed in with his. So there's that. And then also I want to show a quick little video I did. Over here on the bottom right-hand corner is the bridge. I don't know if you can see it. But if you follow the creek all the way underneath the highway, his house is right there. And another strange thing is right across the street is the church where they had the press conference. How ironic is that? I mean, I wondered if he even went to that church. And that's Mike and Becky's church. So let me pull up the little screenshot here and we can kind of look at that for a minute. So eerie. So for whatever reason, if he parked at the CPS building and he had to flee another way because he cut himself or whatever, he could have easily gotten home undetected. You guys notice this little trail right here? As soon as you pop out underneath the freeway, there's a trail that leads right into this neighborhood. It also looks like there's another farming trail on the edge of the woods right here. CJK, there was a little bit of talk about that. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that has everything to do with Kagan Klein and his whole catfishing setup. I think the Hannah Rostel stuff or anybody outside of what Keegan has already admitted is going to be somebody that we're most likely looking for. Network News also said the guy on the bridge was identified. Yes, and they stated a source. They're saying sources tell us the guy on the bridge was identified and even came forward early on in the case. Well, the source in this most likely is a Reddit post. Hey, Melissa, good to see you. Melissa with the super chat, thank you so much. Hello, Sleuth. Love your channel. Thanks for all the work you have done on this case. Thank you for all your support, Melissa. I really appreciate that. Yeah, you know what's crazy about that too, Tamara, is he can get pretty far away from the crime scene, maybe even go underneath the overpass, and he can leave all of that clothes somewhere. You know what I mean? And if he's able to hide it out there, he could come back and recover it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, let's take a look at Bill's video from Delphi Timeline. He actually takes a walk on the private drive, and I have a feeling that he may have, whether he drove there or not, I have a feeling he could have left on that private drive. He seems to be fully aware that that's down there. I guarantee it wouldn't have been his first time being on that private drive. My bet is it plays a huge part in whatever strategy this guy was working with. Make sure you go check out his channel. It's Delphi Timeline.
End of the bridge.
And our good friend Bill. He was here earlier. I don't know if he's still here or not.
Down the hill.
So Bill recently took a trip up to Delphi. He documented everything along his way. He went over there to the bridge. He got a lot of footage out there in Delphi, and he was kind enough and brave enough to get this footage for us. That's the private drive right there. So directly in front of him is the crime scene, right across the creek. Right over there. And think about it. What's down the hill is a private drive, Just trying to get them down there. Because if you met up with Kagan over there at the Marathon gas station for whatever reason, and he says, hey, I was supposed to meet those girls here. He's like, well, tell him to meet me. Tell him that you're going to meet him on the south end of the bridge at 2:30. And he's like, okay. Hey, there's Bill. What's up, Bill? Thanks again for having for getting out there and getting this footage, man. This is it's crazy. Thank you, CC. I appreciate you. Hey, you got it. I mean, like I said, I'm no different than you guys. You know, I just wanted to create this platform so that I didn't have people shutting me down. And I'm glad that I did because I was able to meet all you guys and create this channel. And it's growing and it's only going to get bigger. And our voice is only going to get louder. What's up, Irish? Yep, private drive goes under the bridge. And here's the shoe tree. I don't know if you guys all had a chance to take a look at that. I don't know, channel. We're still working on finding that information. There's a lot of people that like to throw out misinformation and kind of get people wound up. So I'm not going to jump on any of that until I can verify it. But it sounds like from the rumors, it was some type of stolen property that led them to a search that led them to evidence. But that's all speculation. So there's the shoe tree. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. There's been a lot of conspiracy theories regarding the shoe tree. Toad? Not sure what you mean. Repo Recon, what's up? Do you think it may be possible that a group of these pedo creeps made a snuff film? Yeah, I mean, it is possible. You know, there's just so much more involved. I mean, how do you explain the ski mask incident? How do you explain Kagan Klein's involvement? How do you explain the murder sheet saying that Kagan Klein told one of their trusted sources that he was waiting in a Jeep while somebody else committed the murder? Why did they also say that Kagan Klein searched the Marathon gas station the day of the murder, and the Marathon gas station is in walking distance of this guy's house? If he was going to go meet somebody on foot, that's the place he would go. I'll meet you at the Marathon gas station. All he has to do is walk. Like it's not far at all. It's like a football throw away. So just because you didn't find a connection in your little, Facebook stalking doesn't mean that one doesn't exist. This guy seems to be smart enough not to put all his shit out on Facebook. So I think he's going to have some skeletons for real. Hey, Lola, with the super chat. Thank you so much. I know I give you a monthly donation, but you've gone above and beyond the last few weeks. Thank you. Yeah, because you are a member, Lola. And you always participate in the members meetings, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay, now this part of Bill's video, this is kind of when you would kind of start to straggle off, and start headed towards the highway. It's somewhere in through this area. It looks pretty risky. But there are some places where there's a couple roads you can see and kind of pull off. Thank you, Melissa. I wonder where the young girl witness was when she saw Richard Allen. From my understanding, it was near the Freedom Bridge, or in between the Monon High Bridge and the Freedom Bridge. Story goes she came face to face with him, but I think his face may have been covered. His lower face may have been covered. Somebody in the chat might be able to correct me. Yeah, think about it. If that's his escape route and nobody was really searching between, there and the bridge and his home because it's private property, you just can't go searching through there. Um, I think Bill is the first person who ever walked this road the way he's doing it now and actually documented it. And I think coming up here is where you can kind of see some roads that kind of pull off to the side. And he lived there for 15 years in Delphi, this Richard Allen. And if he's an avid outdoorsman, I mean, he's going to know about these spots. And if memory serves me correctly, Bill said that this thing's not locked. There's just a chain that kind of wraps around to hold the gate. So even if somebody wanted to drive back there, they could if they wanted to. It's just like a tied chain. Yep, that was definitely one of the theories early on. Yeah, keep an open mind with this kind of stuff. But we still don't know. We don't know if he escaped on foot. He could have just, parked at the CPS building, got back in his car, and went home. Yep, that's right, Joe. Joe says, hold on. Ooh, that was a good sneeze. Joe says 16-year-old girl had him pegged, but lower face covered with scarf. She said he was her height, around 5'6", and resembled Jimmy Duvall. Man, she was spot on. And I wonder if that's why they had him looking like the younger sketch. Maybe she said, well, he looked younger, and law enforcement said, well, this person may appear younger, than his actual age because all she saw was his upper face, the upper part of his face, and maybe nose up. And facial hair will make anybody look older, but if you have that covered, and you may look a little bit younger in between from your nose, I would say to your eyes, that might would have caused them to make that comment. All right, I'm just going to close this out with 2 little videos, and then we'll get out of here. This was actually taken from Richard Allen's wife's Facebook. Apparently, she's goofing around in the kitchen. They're cooking, and there's some commotion that happens outside. In my opinion, it sounded like a bird may have hit the window, and it looked like Richard Allen is wearing the blue coat, and this is 2018 December, and he has a large blade out, and he's kind of poking at the bird. Let's take a look here.
You need to stop. You need to stop. I need to stop. But you know what? I'm not going to. It's gonna be a really long day. Oh, God.
Yeah, he does. I think Jimmy Duvall looks just like him. So there he is. He's 2018. There's that damn jacket, and he's got a big ass knife in his hand. There's even like something leather there on the ground. Yeah, so that one's pretty creepy. This will be the last one, and then we'll close it out for about 5 minutes in the chat. I want to thank everybody who donated to the channel or participated in super chats. It means a lot to me. That enables me to spend more time here. Take a look at this. This is just a compilation I put together of everything I could before they scrubbed it. Yeah, I think he looks a lot like Jimmy Duvall. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I mean they could be brothers. Jimmy Duvall's another creep. Yeah, Irish kind of makes more sense now. Because there's been some profilers that think that there's no way possible that this was this guy's first time, you know, considering how he was able to hide it, and apparently he fits some kind of profile. Hey, Cold Truth, nice to see you. Right, bees? I agree. I don't know, Dakshay. Kim Riley mentioned dealing with some issues of possibly a tainted crime scene because of the searchers. So I don't know. Yeah, that was a cat, but I don't think he was messing with the cat. I think there might have been like a bird or something on the ground. Right? Yeah, how do you not recognize that jacket? That doesn't make any sense. But you never know. All right, we're going to hang out for another 5 minutes and we'll start winding down. I want to thank everybody who participated in the chat. Sorry if I couldn't keep up as much as I wanted to. Maybe I'll slow it down a little bit more next time. People that participated with the super chats, thank you again. I appreciate you guys. And I'll try to stay on top of any new information, work with all the partners that I've made here on YouTube, and see if anything breaks. I'm sure we'll be right on top of it, and we'll let you guys know right away. Are you guys hearing that weird static? Thanks, Mandy. Yeah, it must have just been on my end. I reloaded the page and it stopped. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Vanessa, good to see you. Have a great day. You're right, Ann. I mean, nobody did, apparently. Hey, Grizz, good to see you. What's up? What's up? Baby Bear, you have a great one as well. Ripperologist, Jack the Ripper Research. I know all about throat cutting, but cannot imagine how to actually do it. At one point, do you actually do it on a human? Yeah, it's very strange. Something's got to be wrong. Some wires are crossed. It's that monster gene. Thank you, Miss Thang. Heather, thank you. Jane, you have a great day as well. Appreciate it. And good day, Joe. Thanks for that great call yesterday. I appreciated that. Good stuff. Jari, good to see you as always. Wanda, Chucky, Rhonda Toodaloo.